Good morning. So people reactions always surprising, aren't they? So some people have said, don't feel bad, don't feel embarrassed, whatever, don't be ashamed. I'm not. Um, some people have encouraged me and hoped, that my resolve remains strong. What I was trying to convey is sort of a more subtle thing where, um, I have due resolve to do things. I consider that a very uncertain approach. If that experience had given me resolve, then that would not, cat. Um, I wouldn't say I'm not gonna drink. The reason I say I'm not gonna drink is because I see that, and I was already struggling with this issue of, see, I don't like to install inhibitions to get a bunch of resolve, and I don't like that to dam and aqueduct my emotions. I prefer, if I can change the way the current flow works so that urges come where they're welcome. And so, it's not that I got some resolve. And this is what I was saying about why it was useful, because of my way of thinking that, I didn't hurt myself. I didn't even have a hangover. I had no pain because a ramification like that, because that sort of ramification can make people promise themselves all sorts of things and, fill up their cup of resolve and wish it's a bucket or whatever. Been there, that's fine. That's how life goes a lot. But what happened in this case is that I had this question of, well, what's the right, like my approach was mostly that, well, what's the right timing? Because one thing I've dealt with cutting down drinking was realizing, well, you know what, I'm going to work till 2 in the morning tonight. And if I, even if I do only have a beer or two, I won't keep. I've noticed my particular metabolism probably isn't going to keep steam on working really late. So I was thinking, well, it's a timing thing then. And I need to look at the days and the context and all this stuff. And this was necessitated because I don't like using resolve, prohibition, inhibition as a technique for changing myself. And the reason is because I think inhibitions bottle up energy and they come out, and it's like if everything's a pressure cooker, then cat on the computer. Oh, you turn on my computer for me, Tat? Who's good, Tat? Oh, just like meh. Um, so so this is more about taking the meaning from this particular thing. I mean, and conveying it, and the the confidence is not like, well, I know I can do whatever I want. Um, it's it's not even really a confidence. It's just something I noticed because I took meaning from this particular experience, and I have which gave me what felt like insight on what it means at this moment, what it means to uh, this project of figuring out the right timing and stuff. And I realized, well, you know what? That is just taking energy, figuring that out, pouring over that. And where I am is in a point where it just saves a lot of energy to stop drinking. Now, I've been at points where, uh, like I had said, where I knew, a year ago or whatever, oh, I'm going to need to cut down, but I didn't, I wasn't ready to just stop. I wasn't going to bottle up um, enough resolve or anything. But I started working on my dialections and my tastes. I started working on, developing a desire to, to have better timing and amount and control, and relearn some aspects that I think are helpful to drinking a healthy amount, not, when it's appropriate for the person and so on. And having constructed those desires, I'm now at the end of this process where I already felt like, oh, I've got control of it. So the lack of control in this last case fills in a missing factor in an equation of this subject. And it's like realizing, a way to simplify an equation and save a lot of energy. And since I've already worked on my predilections, or my tastes in the matter, I realize that none is enough. No alcohol. And people react in funny ways to that. I mean, uh, it's not some sort of promise or an announcement of a promise. I don't owe you guys any consistency or anything, right? I don't even owe you the one thing I do always give, which is my honest opinion, as far as I understand it, as honest as I can make it, and as honest as I can figure out for myself. Um, and and I'm reporting how I feel about it. Well, why am I doing that? I mean, I thought a lot about that, whether I should. And I think one reason is because I'm going to leave that 5-hour videotape up. So I figure I would explain its meaning in my actual, as an experience in my actual life, right? I don't look for life advice. This is for you, a bit of the universe, in comments or on the internet. I just look for information, and the information might inform life events. But I'd say it's rare. I can't remember it ever happening before that I would. Oh, who's my Tribotat? Tribble. Yeah. Having an experience that was an in real life experience, as well as a broadcast experience, and then it having sort of a meaning that was sort of an epiphany. And the reason I feel so good about it is, you see, I don't like those inhibitions, okay? And this is not backing off of something. Um, it's more like I already reduced the issue as a problem down to something small, and then I stepped over it, and I didn't break my toe, you know. Um, I just stepped over it. I didn't have to climb over it. I stepped over it. I'm continuing on the same path I'm already on. So in a way, nothing has changed, except for as you take steps along the path, the scenery changes, right? And I know I'm going to do that only because, not because I'm making a promise about the future, but because no such promise is really necessary. I receive a big quantity of energy by collecting energy from this particular issue and realizing, holy shit, this is really how this can proceed. Um, and I don't like to demonize things. Like in AA, they want people to demonize their old selves and how worthless it was. And I always thought that's not really a psychologically healthy way to go about it. But then again, I don't go around criticizing AA, because people need to stop drinking, and whatever they can do, whatever methods they can do, then great. And there's a lot more to AA than that. But So I'm not demonizing drinking. I think drinking can be a useful thing. In my videos yesterday, I mentioned I think that drinking can help you cope. I think it did help me cope. Um, and But there definitely is a tolerance and a relationship with drinking that affects stuff. So I uh, I was cutting down my drinking before my daughter passed away. In fact, that was an ironic part of the whole thing. It might be, mixed up in my issues here is that I hadn't drunk for a couple days. There was no alcohol of mine in the house the night my daughter died, and yet they were drinking. They had gotten alcohol, and so and that was a different situation. And then that might be something that's like, well, get your resolve all together. But I think that forcing your emotions with pressure cookers and vacuum tubes is um, is a leaky proposition. Those kinds of systems don't really work that well. You know what? You're gonna make me all stuffy face. It's too early in the morning to get cat face. The heck, cat fur, cat on the lap. Come up for the camera then. Make yourself useful. Can you hear? It's purring. So, yeah, I think the weirdest reaction is definitely yours, a bit of the universe. I mean, first you're lecturing me um, before I explained that I'm gonna not drink now. That the right amount for me is none, and then you're lecturing me on, well, don't say such things. You might disappoint people when you stop drinking. Okay, I wouldn't care about that, and I wouldn't feel that I had to share any of this. I don't really usually share stuff like this, but there was this convergence. Part of the meaning to me was that it happened in this context. That I was wondering if I should take my channel, my attitude about my channel and the videos I make differently, as well as if for example, should I, have more commitment to it, right? Instead of just doing it as an outlet, something I happen to enjoy doing it, like playing a little video game. Should I have a commitment to it, which is like joining an organization that promotes the video game or something? Um, uh, and one way of doing that is to regularly have hangouts or talk to other people, or I like interviewing other people, or working on projects, but that's difficult to do. And so all of this stuff sort of converge. Das Book is also a special. Um, he he's significant and special to me personally. I take great. I've He has a special role in my mind about YouTube, um, and his channel's been significant to me personally, and so all of this stuff converges, and also right when I'm feeling, hey, I've got control of it, there's an incidence of how did that fucking happen? Because I thought I had control of it, and I totally thought, oh, I'm going to drink 2 drinks. I made the decision. I'm back on deciding how much I drink. And then, you see, figuring out how much to drink and what is the right timing takes more energy, right, than just getting plastered in the first place, right? So, this is something that's going to save me energy and something I can simply step over and move on because I got a lot of stuff going on, right? And drinking hasn't interfered with that. I remain functional because I never totally lost my sense of timing. You know, I don't go to work drunk or try to drive, or I was already kept the impact low. And I think this kind of event shows me that I can't rely on that because there's some luck. I mean, how I did not hurt myself at least a little bit, I don't know. So there was some luck in that, but it's also because I train myself that when I drink to remember that, so I don't go jumping down things and think I'm a Superman all of a sudden. I be more careful. So uh, and devoting that care itself is an energy drain. That's really what I'm giving up, right? I'm giving up having to worry about it. I don't need to spend, there's other things that I could spend the time on practicing the perfect, um, timing and everything. And, you know, uh, it's really about the foreseeable future. I'm not saying that when I'm 80, I won't be having a glass of wine with dinner. I don't know. I'll have to face that when I get there. But or 55 or 50, or but I believe I see enough of the foreseeable future to realize that this is an energy. This is a way I've spent energy that this is not its place on my life right now. It doesn't have a place, and for the foreseeable future. And the foreseeable future aspect is just because I'm already describing to you a thought process that's several years old, right? And I just realized I've emotionally set myself into a position where it's possible to stop spending energy trying to figure out the more fine-tooth details. Um, and the humility of that is just that, as I said, I did this hard emotional work to get to this point where I thought, okay, I have to watch out this thing, and I'm still figuring out, well, what is the right amount? When is the right time? And this kind of stuff. Um, but the humility is that, okay, to the degree that I have mastered it and got and lessened my drinking and gotten the better timing and controlled amounts through various means, that where I'm really at emotionally is it's not something, it's going to take a lot of energy to keep controlling it um, in a marginal sense, whereas I'm at a place where it will take me no energy to just not do it. So, and it's not, alcohol is not like tobacco or heroin, where there's this physical, for me at least, this physical sort of drive that plays with your mind and makes you think you want it after you told you didn't. No, the drive and desire to drink is different. Um, and I really think there's an important difference of class between the kind of addiction that tobacco offers, where tobacco is just a crazy, a liar kind of thing. Like, yeah, I'm going to quit cigarettes, so I'll just get one more pack, and that'll be it. And your brain goes, yeah, okay, fine. So, so I think it's easier to know how I feel because about it, what I'm going to do. It's easier to make predictions about decisions with alcohol because there really is a psychological aspect. And if you have some psychological clarity on what's going on, you can know, yeah, I am going to drink again. No, and I think it's knowable. So, uh, yeah, I mean, a bit of the universe was going on about my disappointing audiences and stuff. It's just like, I don't understand what half the people are doing here when I mean, I feel like they're in this hobby with me, but they're just doing something totally different. I don't know exactly what all y'all, most of you are doing when you watch and assess what people are going through or listen to their messages. I don't get it. But anyway, that's more clarity. I got that great morning hair going on. And I got tats on my lap. I'm gonna. You better not make my face all stuffed up. I gotta get work done. I'm up early. I'm up early, Dad. Happy Dad. Happy Dad. Happy Dad. Oh, you're so happy you have to claw my leg. Oh, yeah. Can't help it. It just happens.